It was an evening of connections and partnerships, as business leaders discussed the Nigeria-US relationship. At a US Freedom 250 business gathering in Abuja, they agreed its next phase could be defined as much by boardrooms and technology as by diplomacy. For the US Chargé d'Affaires Keith Hoffen, the economic relationship is based on mutual benefit and not dependency. Hoffen said both countries must focus on practical issues including customs modernization, trade facilitation, standards alignment and new investment, ahead of the Nigerian Economic Summit in October.
Nowhere is that clearer than in this room. The United States and Nigeria share one of the most consequential economic partnerships on this continent. American companies are among Nigeria's largest investors, spanning energy, technology, agriculture, financial services, and beyond. At the same time, Nigerian talent, markets, and entrepreneurship continue to shape opportunities for US businesses well beyond Abuja and Lagos. This is very much a two-way relationship, one built on mutual benefit, not dependency. That relationship isn't new, and it isn't accidental. It's the product of decades of sustained engagement, persistence, and trust building, much of it advanced by many of you here tonight. I'd also note that Freedom 250 isn't only about looking forward at what America has built. It's about recommitting to what America and its partners build next. And there's no better audience for that conversation than the business leaders, innovators, and government partners in this room who are already doing the work every day. Tonight's gathering is about more than celebration, it's about momentum. In just a few months, many of us will reconvene at the Nigerian Economic Summit, where we'll have the opportunity to chart the next decade of this partnership together. I'm looking forward to joining that conversation alongside Nigerian government leadership and private sector voices from both countries to talk candidly about where this relationship is heading. From trade facilitation and customs modernization to standards alignment to unlocking new investment across critical sectors. These aren't abstract policy questions. They are the practical, on-the-ground issues that determine whether a shipment clears customs on time, whether a new factory gets built, or whether a promising Nigerian startup can access US capital and markets. The strength of the US-Nigeria economic relationship has always depended on partnership. Between our governments, yes, but just as importantly, between our businesses, our innovators, and our entrepreneurs. Diplomacy opens doors, but it's the work happening in the boardrooms, on factory floors, and in negotiations between companies that proves the most consequential, that actually delivers the tangible results of diplomacy and partnership. That's what Freedom 250 is ultimately about. Not simply commemorating the past, but recommitting to the partnerships that will define the next chapter. And that's exactly what tonight represents. So thank you for being here. Thank you for the good work you do to strengthen this relationship every day. And I look forward to continuing these conversations tonight, at the summit in October, and in the years ahead. Here's to the next 250 years of doing business together between our two great nations. Thank you.
American Business Council Nigeria Managing Director Margaret O'Leary said the long-standing relationship between both countries extends beyond business, with the council working to strengthen commercial and cultural ties, while the Managing Director of Equinox Nigeria Ltd, Wole Abu, said the digital economy offers some of the biggest opportunities ahead.
Had U.S. companies that have been in this country before the independence of this country. And today we talk about Nigeria being the longest democracy in the continent. It ties to this affiliation, this whole, really wanting to do work. And so where we see in the area of economics, the bilateral conversations that we are having today, they go way back to those areas of relationships and connectivities that, had been building over the years. I would say that about 1979, Nigeria even moved away, and I'm sure we don't have folks from the British Embassy here, Commission, or moved away from the parliamentary form of government, and even adopting the DC type. And I can go on and on. Even the way we drive, the left hand, right hand driving, and a couple of other things that show strong connectivity to the US. So today we're celebrating this, but also foregrounding the realities of the bilateral relationship that we're looking at. And through the 250 series celebration that we're running, we had the first one and now the second one. We had the first one on Friday, really celebrating the cultural affinities. And we even mentioned and joked that the Afrobeats that we talk about today, in 1969, Fela went to LA and got inspired. He was doing high life and all before then, but got inspired and came back, and that became the birth of Afrobeat. So we see a lot of connectivity, and the front that we are heading, which is the NES, come October, we are going to highlight some of these things, but also use this platform to buttress some of the ways that we can even do better business. I mean, there are a couple of issues, but one of the things I'll say about today's government that's in Nigeria is the fact that we're able to have conversations, and
we're in the age of the fourth industrial revolution. Everybody's talking about AI. Of course, it does have its challenges, but the opportunities are massive because it's going to change everything. It started changing everything. Today, typically, we are in what we'll call the training stage. Just a few huge companies that have the huge resources in terms of talent, capital, and power are able to do the training with all the data they have. But the inferencing that is coming in a year or two's time is going to actually start the J-core, where we start really seeing it deployed into every different sector. And it's going to change. I mean, it's just going to be as basic as electricity. And I don't see it more as a challenge. For us, the only way we have to go is up. The relationships we have with America can only improve because there's so many areas where we still have to grow. So talking about the data centers, we invested $320 million to acquire Main One, and after that, another $170 million has been spent, and we still have a lot more ahead. I know several other companies that we have been able to enable just because we are now here, because we're a trusted partner to almost every tech company. A huge part of the internet is supported by what we do. So the CIP, which is run by FMETI and co, actually takes that digital infrastructure area as a focus area for the next couple of years, and we've made some recommendations. Recently, we've started tackling again the area around regulating data, which is, so some years ago it was